My wife's secret sister showed up with a baby claiming I'm the father, but I'm infertile and my wife knew it all along. My name is John and I am 34 years old. My wife Emily is 32. We've been together since college, a solid 10 years and married for 5 of those. I always thought we had a good thing going. We were that couple everyone envied, you know. The ones who seemed to have it all figured out. We had a beautiful home in the suburbs, good jobs, and a comfortable life. We even had a cute dog named Max, a golden retriever who was basically our furry child. We always talked about having kids, but it just never seemed to be the right time. Truth be told, there was a reason beyond timing. Back when I was a kid, around 12 years old, I had a pretty serious illness. It was touch and go for a while, but thankfully I pulled through. However, one of the side effects of the treatment was that it left me infertile. It was something my parents told me when I was older, maybe 16 or 17. It wasn't exactly something you wanted to hear as a teenager, but I came to terms with it. I knew that if I ever found someone I wanted to spend my life with, we would have to explore other options like adoption or maybe even just being child-free. It wasn't ideal, but it was my reality. When I met Emily in college, I was upfront about it pretty early on. I didn't want to waste anyone's time, and honesty was important to me, especially in a relationship. I remember telling her on maybe our 3rd or 4th date. We were at this little Italian place downtown, sharing a pizza. I was nervous as hell, expecting her to run for the hills. But Emily, being the amazing woman I thought she was, just took my hand across the table and said, "John, that's okay. We'll figure it out together. If we are meant to be together, we'll find a way." That's when I knew I was falling for her for real. She was so understanding, so compassionate. It made me love her even more. Over the years, we built a life together. We got our first apartment, then bought our house. We got Max as a puppy. We traveled, we laughed, we argued sometimes, but we always worked through it. Marriage felt like the natural next step, and it was honestly the happiest day of my life. Emily was my best friend, my partner, my everything. I truly believed we were in it for the long haul. We still talked about kids every now and then, but it was never a huge point of contention. We were happy, and that's what mattered. Then last Tuesday, everything changed. I was working from home like usual. Emily was at her office. She works in marketing for a big company downtown. Around lunchtime, there was a knock at the door. I wasn't expecting anyone, so I was a little surprised. I opened the door and there was this woman standing there. She looked vaguely familiar, but I couldn't quite place her. She was holding a baby, maybe 6 months old, wrapped in a blue blanket. "Hello," she said, her voice a little shaky. "Is Emily here?" "No, she's at work," I replied, a bit confused. "Can I help you with something?" The woman took a deep breath. "My name is Jessica," she said. I think you need to know something about Emily." My guard went up immediately. "Okay," I said cautiously. "What is it?" Jessica shifted the baby in her arms, then looked me straight in the eye. "I'm Emily's sister," she said, "her half-sister actually, and this is your son." I stared at her, completely dumbfounded. "My son?" I repeated like an idiot. "What are you talking about? I don't have a son." "Yes, you do," Jessica insisted. "His name is Leo, and you're his father." I started to laugh, a nervous, disbelieving laugh. "This is a joke, right? Because it's not funny, I can't have kids. I'm infertile." "Emily knows that?" Jessica's expression didn't change. She just looked at me, her eyes sad. "I know it's hard to believe," she said, "but it's true. Emily knows too. She's known all along." My heart started to pound in my chest. This couldn't be real. It was like something out of a bad soap opera. "Wait," I said, trying to make sense of it. "Emily has a sister. I've been with her for 10 years, married for 5. She's never mentioned a sister. Ever. That's because—" "Well, it's complicated," Jessica said, hesitating. "Our mother gave Emily up for adoption when she was a baby. Emily doesn't know much about her biological family. I only found out about her a couple of years ago myself." "And you're just showing up now after all this time with a baby claiming it's mine?" I asked, my voice rising. "This is insane." "Look, I know it sounds crazy," Jessica said, her voice pleading, "but please just hear me out. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't sure. Emily and I. We've talked. She knows I'm here. She knows you're here." I repeated, my mind reeling. "She knows you're here claiming I'm the father of your baby. And she didn't tell me. She was scared," Jessica said softly. "She didn't know how to tell you. Scared." I scoffed. "Scared of what?" "Of telling me that my wife has a secret sister who suddenly appeared with a baby she claims is mine, when I physically can't have children. It's a long story," Jessica said, looking down at the baby in her arms. Can we talk inside? Maybe sit down?" I hesitated for a moment, completely thrown off balance. But something in Jessica's eyes, the genuine distress in her voice, made me relent. "Fine," I said, stepping back to let her in. "Come in." I led her into the living room, Max wagging his tail excitedly at the new visitor. Jessica sat down on the sofa, carefully cradling the baby. He was actually really cute, I had to admit, with big blue eyes and a tuft of dark hair. But the whole situation was so bizarre, so surreal, that I felt like I was in some kind of weird dream. "Okay," I said, sitting down opposite her. "Start from the beginning. Tell me everything." Jessica took another deep breath and began to explain. She told me about how she had found out about Emily a few years ago, through some online genealogy research. Apparently, their mother had given Emily up for adoption when she was very young, and Jessica had only recently discovered she had an older sister. She had managed to track Emily down online and had reached out to her. They had been in contact for a while, mostly online and over the phone, but had never actually met in person until recently. "And the baby?" I prompted, feeling a knot of dread forming in my stomach. Jessica's voice dropped even lower. "The baby, Leo. He's yours, John," she said again, her gaze unwavering. "I know it's hard to believe, but it's true." "But how?" I asked, my voice strained. "I told you I'm infertile. Doctors told me. Multiple doctors, it's not possible." "Well," Jessica said, her cheeks flushing slightly, "it happened before you and Emily were married. A while ago it was a mistake, a one-night stand. A one-night stand," I repeated, my mind struggling to process this. "With who? With you?" Jessica shook her head quickly. "No, no, not with me," she said. "With Emily." I stared at her, my jaw dropping. "With Emily?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. You're saying Emily had a one-night stand with you, before we were married? And that's how I'm the father of your baby?" "No, not exactly," Jessica said, her voice getting even softer. "Emily didn't have a one-night stand with me. She had a one-night stand with my ex-boyfriend." My head was spinning. This was getting more and more convoluted by the second. "Your ex-boyfriend?" I asked, completely lost. "Okay, I'm really confused now. How does your ex-boyfriend and Emily having a one-night stand make me the father of your baby?" Jessica sighed, running a hand through her hair. "Okay, let me try to explain this better," she said. "My ex-boyfriend. His name is Mark, and he's your brother." Silence descended upon the living room. I just sat there staring at Jessica, my brain completely short-circuiting. My brother Mark. My brother who lived across the country and who I hadn't seen in years. My brother who was happily married with 2 kids of his own. My brother, Mark, had slept with Emily. And that somehow made me the father of Jessica's baby. It made absolutely no sense. Wait, I stammered, holding up a hand. "Mark is my brother, yes, and you're saying Emily slept with Mark, my brother, before we were married?" Jessica nodded slowly. "Yes," she said. "It was a long time ago. Before you and Emily were even engaged. She was going through a tough time, I think. We were all at a party, she drank too much, it just happened, and you're saying that baby, Leo, is Mark's son?" I asked, still trying to piece it all together. "Yes," Jessica said, but Emily doesn't know that. She thinks Leo is yours. She thinks Leo is mine." I repeated, my voice incredulous. But I'm infertile." "She knows that. We've talked about it a million times." I know," Jessica said, her voice full of distress. "It's a mess, I know. But Emily, she told me that she always wanted to have your baby, that she loved you so much and she couldn't bear the thought of not having children with you. So she convinced herself that Leo was yours. She wanted it to be true so badly that she just believed it. She believed it," I echoed, my voice rising again. "She believed that she had a baby with me, even though she knew I was infertile. And she never told me about any of this. She just let me believe that we couldn't have kids while secretly thinking she had a baby with me. A baby that's actually my brother's." Jessica nodded, tears welling up in her eyes. "I know it sounds insane," she said, "but that's what happened. Emily told me everything. She confessed it all to me a few weeks ago when I told her I was pregnant. She was so scared, so ashamed. She begged me not to tell you. She said it would ruin your marriage, that you would never forgive her. And you're telling me now?" I asked, my voice tight with anger. "Why are you telling me now, Jessica? Why not keep it a secret like Emily wanted?" Jessica wiped a tear from her cheek. "Because it's not fair to you, John," she said. "You deserve to know the truth. You deserve to know that Emily has been lying to you for years, and Leo deserves to know who his real father is." I sat there in stunned silence, trying to process the sheer absurdity of it all. My wife Emily had slept with my brother Mark years ago. She had gotten pregnant. She had given the baby up for adoption to Jessica. And then she had convinced herself that the baby was mine, even though she knew I was infertile. And she had kept this entire thing a secret from me for years. Years. So, I said slowly, my voice trembling with rage. Let me get this straight. Emily knows that Leo is probably Mark's son. She knows that I'm infertile. And yet, she's been living with me, pretending to be my loving wife, while secretly believing she has a child with me. A child that's actually my brother's. Jessica nodded again, her eyes filled with tears. Yes, she whispered. I'm so sorry, John, I really am. I stood up abruptly, pacing around the living room, Max whimpering at my feet. I felt like I was going to explode. Betrayal. Lies. Deception. It was all swirling around in my head, making me dizzy with anger and hurt. My wife, the woman I loved and trusted more than anyone in the world, had been living a complete lie. And she had involved my brother and this innocent baby in her twisted fantasy. Where is she? I asked, my voice low and dangerous. Where is Emily right now? She's at work, Jessica said, shrinking back slightly. But please don't be angry with her. She's just really messed up. She loves you, John. She really does? She just made a mistake. A big mistake, a mistake. I roared, finally losing my temper. Sleeping with my brother is a mistake. Conceiving a child with him is a mistake. Keeping it a secret from me for years is a mistake. Lying to my face every single day is a mistake. Is that what you call a mistake, Jessica? Jessica flinched at my outburst, tears streaming down her face. I know it's awful, she sobbed. But please just try to understand. She was desperate. She wanted to be a mother. She wanted to have your child. She just went about it the wrong way. The wrong way? I repeated, my voice dripping with sarcasm. The wrong way? That's an understatement, Jessica. That's the understatement of the century. I pulled out my phone, my hands shaking. I'm calling her, I said, dialing Emily's number. It rang and rang, going straight to voicemail. Of course, I muttered. She's probably screening my calls now. I tried texting her instead. Emily, we need to talk. Now, come home immediately. I hit send and waited, staring at my phone screen. Seconds turned into minutes, but there was no reply. She's not going to answer, Jessica said softly. She's probably terrified. Terrified? I scoffed. She should be terrified. I can't believe this. I just can't believe it. I paced around the room again, my anger and hurt bubbling over. I felt betrayed, humiliated, and completely heartbroken. Everything I thought I knew about my life, about my marriage, about Emily, was a lie. A carefully constructed, elaborate lie. And now, this woman, this stranger, was sitting in my living room, holding a baby that was supposedly connected to my family in some twisted, unbelievable way. Jessica, I said, stopping in front of her, I need you to do something for me. I need you to stay here. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to go get Emily. And then we are all going to have a little chat. A very long chat. Jessica looked at me, her eyes wide with fear. Okay, she whispered. I'll stay. I grabbed my car keys and stormed out of the house, Max barking anxiously at my heels. I didn't even bother to tell him goodbye. My mind was racing, my heart pounding, my blood boiling. I was going to confront Emily. I was going to get answers. And I was going to find out exactly what the hell was going on. This was far from over. This was just the beginning of the Reddit drama, for real. I drove to Emily's office building downtown like a man possessed. I parked illegally, not even caring about getting a ticket. I stormed into the lobby, ignoring the security guard's questioning look, and headed straight for the elevators. I knew Emily's floor, marketing department, 10th floor. I jabbed the button repeatedly, willing the elevator to move faster. When the doors finally opened, I practically sprinted out, heading towards Emily's office. I could see her desk from down the hallway, her back to me, typing away on her computer. She looked so normal, so ordinary, like nothing was wrong, like she hadn't been living a massive lie for years. I marched right up to her desk, my footsteps loud and angry on the carpet. She didn't even notice me until I was right behind her. Emily, I said, my voice cold and hard. She jumped, startled, spinning around in her chair. Her eyes widened when she saw me, a flicker of fear crossing her face. John. She stammered. What are you doing here? Is everything okay? Is everything okay? I repeated, my voice dripping with sarcasm. Is everything okay? Emily, do you have any idea what's going on? Do you have any idea what's waiting for us at home? She frowned, confusion clouding her features. What are you talking about? What's at home? Jessica is at home, I said, watching her reaction closely. Jessica, your sister, with her baby, Leo. The color drained from Emily's face. Her eyes went wide with terror and she gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. Jessica, she whispered, her voice trembling, she's here, in our house. Yes, Emily, she's here, I said, my voice rising again, and she's told me everything. Everything, Emily, about her, about you, about Leo, about everything. Tears welled up in Emily's eyes and she started to sob. Oh, John, she cried, reaching out for me. Please, just let me explain. Please, you have to understand. Understand? I scoffed, stepping back away from her. Understand what, Emily? Understand that you've been lying to me for years. Understand that you slept with my brother. Understand that you've been living in some kind of delusional fantasy about having my baby when you know damn well I'm infertile. It's not like that, John, she sobbed, tears streaming down her face. Please just listen to me, it's not what you think. Oh, really? I said, my voice laced with sarcasm. Then tell me, Emily, tell me what it is. Tell me the real story, because I'm all ears. Emily just stood there, sobbing, unable to speak. People in the surrounding cubicles were starting to stare, whispering to each other. I didn't care. I was beyond caring about appearances or office etiquette. My life had just been turned upside down and I wanted answers, and I wanted them now. Come home, Emily, I said, my voice low and firm. We are going home. And we are going to talk, all of us, right now. Emily nodded slowly, her face streaked with tears. She grabbed her purse and followed me out of the office, her head down, shoulders slumped. We walked in silence to the parking garage, got into my car and drove back home. The whole drive was tense and silent, the air thick with unspoken accusations and unspoken fears. I glanced over at Emily a few times, but she just stared straight ahead, her eyes red and swollen. I could see the fear and shame in her face, but honestly at that moment I felt nothing but anger and disgust. When we got back to the house, Jessica was still there, sitting on the sofa, holding Leo. She looked up when we came in, her eyes meeting mine. Emily stopped in the doorway, hesitating as if afraid to enter. Emily, come in, I said, my voice cold and sharp. Don't be shy. We're all family here, right? Well, sort of. Emily slowly walked into the living room, her eyes fixed on Jessica and the baby. Jessica stood up, holding Leo close, and looked at Emily, her expression a mixture of pity and accusation. Emily, Jessica said softly. I told him. Emily flinched as if Jessica had slapped her. She looked at me, her eyes pleading. John, please, she whispered, let me explain. Explain what, Emily? I asked, my voice dangerously calm. Explain why you lied to me for years. Explain why you slept with my brother. Explain why you pretended to be pregnant with my child when you knew it was all a lie. Explain why you kept this entire charade going for so long. Emily started to cry again, her body shaking with sobs. I don't know, she stammered. I was scared. I was stupid. I just wanted to be a mother, and I wanted to be your mother. So you decided to have a baby with my brother instead? I asked, my voice laced with sarcasm. Is that your idea of becoming a mother with me, Emily? No, it wasn't like that, she cried. It was a mistake. It was one night. I was drunk. It didn't mean anything. But it meant enough to get you pregnant, didn't it? I said, my voice rising. It meant enough to create this whole mess, this whole web of lies and deceit. And you just kept it going, Emily. You just let it fester and grow until it exploded in my face. I was going to tell you, she sobbed. I swear I was going to tell you, but I was scared. I was afraid you would leave me. I was afraid you wouldn't love me anymore. Love you? I repeated, my voice incredulous. Emily, how could you think I could love you after this? After all this betrayal? After all these lies? You've completely destroyed everything, Emily. Everything? I know, she cried, sinking to her knees. I'm so sorry, John. Please forgive me. I'll do anything to make it up to you. I looked down at her, kneeling on the floor, sobbing at my feet. I felt a flicker of something, maybe pity, maybe a trace of the love I used to feel for her. But it was quickly extinguished by the overwhelming wave of anger and hurt that washed over me. Forgive her? Could I ever forgive her? Could I ever trust her again? After all this, I honestly didn't think so. It's too late, Emily, I said, my voice cold and final. It's too late for apologies. It's too late for explanations. It's too late for us. Emily looked up at me, her eyes wide with despair. No, John, no, she pleaded. Don't say that. Please don't say that. We can work through this. We can fix this. I love you, John. I really do. I don't think so, Emily, I said, shaking my head. I think this is the end. I think you've just destroyed our marriage, and I don't think there's anything left to salvage. I turned away from her, my heart heavy, my future uncertain. Jessica was still standing there, holding Leo, watching us with sad eyes. I looked at her, and then at the baby in her arms. My brother's son, my wife's secret, my life completely shattered. Jessica, I said, my voice weary, do you need anything? Are you okay? Jessica nodded slowly. I'm okay, she said softly. I wanted you to know the truth, John, for your sake, and for Leo's. I appreciate that, I said, managing a weak smile. Thank you for telling me. What are you going to do, John? Jessica asked, her voice full of concern. About Emily. About everything, I sighed, running a hand through my hair. I don't know, I admitted. I honestly don't know. I need to think. I need to figure things out. But one thing is for sure, things are never going to be the same again. And they weren't. In the days and weeks that followed, my life completely changed. Emily moved out. We started divorce proceedings. It was messy and painful, but I knew it was the only way. I couldn't stay married to someone who had betrayed me so deeply, someone who had lied to me for so long. The trust was completely gone, shattered beyond repair. I did talk to my brother, Mark. It was awkward and difficult, but I needed to hear his side of the story. He was shocked and ashamed when I told him everything. He admitted to the one-night stand with Emily years ago, but claimed he had no idea she had gotten pregnant. He apologized profusely, both for sleeping with Emily and for the pain this whole situation had caused me. I was angry at him too at first, but I also understood that Emily was the one who had orchestrated this whole deception. Mark was just a pawn in her twisted game. I also got a DNA test done, secretly, on Leo. Just to be absolutely sure, and as I suspected, the results came back negative. I was not Leo's father, which of course I already knew, but it was still a confirmation, a final nail in the coffin of Emily's lies. As for Emily, she tried to apologize, to explain, to beg for forgiveness. But I just couldn't bring myself to listen. The hurt was too deep, the betrayal too profound. I cut off all contact with her, blocked her number, and tried to move on with my life. It wasn't easy. There were days when I felt lost and heartbroken, days when I missed the Emily I thought I knew. But then I would remember the lies, the deception, the years of being manipulated, and my anger would resurface, stronger than ever. Eventually, with the support of my friends and family, I started to heal. I focused on my work, on my hobbies, on spending time with Max. I even started dating again, cautiously, slowly, learning to trust again, little by little. It took time, a lot of time, but I eventually started to feel like myself again. Like I could be happy again. Looking back, I learned some hard lessons from this whole experience. I learned that people are not always who they seem to be. I learned that even the people you love and trust the most can betray you in the most unimaginable ways. And I learned that sometimes the best thing you can do is to walk away, to let go, and to start over. Emily's betrayal was devastating, no doubt about it, but in a strange way it also freed me. It freed me from a relationship built on lies and deceit. It freed me to find someone who would love and respect me for who I truly am, someone who would be honest and faithful. And in the end, that's what really mattered. The Reddit drama was over, and I was finally ready to write a new chapter in my life, a chapter filled with truth, honesty, and hopefully real love. Am I wrong for feeling this way? Was I too harsh on Emily? Should I have tried to forgive her? Reddit, tell me what you think. Am I the asshole here? Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.